I'm going to hand over now to Shona Cowie from the Village Storytelling Centre to tell us more. Welcome, Shona.
Thank you, Robert, and hello, everybody. Thanks for allowing me to speak with you today. So yes, I'm Shona. I'm the storyteller who's leading this side of the project at the moment. And it's been a huge privilege to be able to hear the voices and hear the stories of people that are living with dementia for themselves or in their work and in their lives. This is an ambitious project that we're undertaking. We have set ourselves the challenge to make sure that the voices of people experiencing dementia from all over the country in every NHS health board area are heard and that priorities are put forward. And we're not going to miss Tayside because we unfortunately weren't able to speak to anyone who has a dementia diagnosis as part of the storytelling workshops. The sessions were set up, but it wasn't able to happen. We did speak to unpaid carers and professionals and volunteers though. And so this is a bit of a call to action for you because we will reschedule these sessions. So keep an eye out for an online session for people with dementia and opportunities to have telephone one-on-one conversations through storytelling to gather the voices of people that are experiencing dementia. We will need your help to make sure that these people are at the heart of decisions and discussions about our lives, about their lives. So we use storytelling because we believe it's a really powerful tool to help support better communication. And I'll just expand a little bit on what Sam said. In the sessions, we use 3 types of storytelling. We use fictional storytelling. Now that's what you imagine, myths and legends, traditional folk tales, or stories that feel like they're from a different time, fishermen's stories and farmers' stories. And the purpose of these, even though at first they may feel not relevant to our lives right now, they all exist for a reason. So for example, dragons. At first we may think they have nothing to do with our experiences, but actually the character, the figure of a dragon evolved to help societies explore their collective fears. And similarly with fairy tales, which is a big thing in Scotland, a lot of fairy tales and fairy stories developed simultaneously with child mortality rates. This was a way that we could explore that grief separately and with a bit of distance and a bit of protection. And more modern times, we can see J.K. Rowling decided to create Dementors for her to be able to express her experiences with depression. So I'm wondering what already exists, what expression of dementia can we find in our folklore and in our mythical creatures, or is it time that we create one to offer us a vessel through which to express our experiences and individuals' experiences? So that's fictional narrative. The other type that we use is personal narrative. So that's anecdotes, autobiography, chit chat. This is day-to-day stuff. This is how we all communicate all the time. And it's really powerful. It's really important that we have a chance to be heard and that we have a chance to share. And we also learn to listen. This is a really important part of our practice. And the third type of storytelling is one step removed. So this is what Sam was describing, when it feels like a true story. The character that we create could be anyone that we know. It could be a friend, or it could be somebody that we work with, but the person's not real. And by creating that fiction, just that level or that distance, we're able to explore things in a deeper way. You understand if I say, if I ask a participant to discuss the most distressing moment of their lives right now, that's not appropriate and it's very intense. But I can say, what might Bob be facing right now? What is distressing Bob? And just with that separation, we're able to go into what could be distressing someone in that situation in a much more deep and profound way. And I think it's important to say that stories are all around us, and that's not an airy-fairy thing. When we think about the past and we think about memory, it's completely subjective. We base our understanding of memory in the past on a constructive narrative of the most likely set of circumstances. It's not happening now. It's not real anymore. It's a story. And similarly, the future doesn't exist yet. And we need an extraordinary amount of imagination in order to imagine the simplest things, such as what we're going to have for lunch later. This is an incredibly creative skill. So the future, it doesn't exist yet. It's also story. It's also constructed narrative and imagination. So we exist in the present, real now, but the past is imagined in story and the future is imagined in story. And I think we can build skills in storytelling and creativity and imagination. We need to, in order to be able to imagine something more positive and create better lives. So if yourself or if anyone you know might be interested in joining our sessions for people with dementia, come along. It will be with me probably, or one of my colleagues at the Storytelling Centre, and we'll have a lovely time, a great chat, and we'll explore some stories together. I'm going to move on now to talk about the care list. So this is a list that we've been compiling across the sessions all over the country. And we've simply been asking people to, in that moment, list what care means to them. And it builds a picture across the country. So this is what care means to people in Tayside. Care is about respect, dignity, ensuring the person has their basic needs met. Care is having company, it's social, emotional, and physical. It's acknowledging individuals' likes and dislikes, ensuring that voices are heard, acknowledging their values and beliefs, providing a comfortable space. It's about maintaining relationships. Care is working in partnership with the person, not taking things at face value, a smile, being inventive and thinking outside the box, spending time with people one-to-one, going for a walk, seeing how they respond. Care is here and now. Care is a team effort. It's seeing the birds and the trees. Care is choice. Care is unique. And care is safe. Care is empathy, it's practical listening, willingness to help and engage. Care is ideas, activities and resources. It's trust, ability to be vulnerable. Care is patience, it is love. Care is open and honest. Care is respectful of boundaries. Care is exhausting. Care is knowledge of the person. Care is relevant. We're going to move on to the priorities now. So just bear with me a moment while I share my screen. Here we are. So the priorities which emerged from the storytelling sessions are as follows. There is a real need to personalise care. Individual stories can help carers, move my own face. I wonder if I can get rid of that. There we go. To better understand the unique needs of each person. However, being able to provide such care and support is complicated by services and approaches to working that may be disjointed at times, or by not taking into consideration the views of those closest to the person living with dementia. People aren't always looking for an answer. Sometimes you also just need to be able to say you'll go away and think about it. Sometimes the same answers are being rolled out time and time again without really listening to the needs of individuals. We've been through many times where we've had some support that is not relevant and it doesn't help. If they receive care that is relevant, then you as the carer feel supported. Priority 2. A one-size-fits-all approach is being rolled out, partly because of a lack of time and space to foster relationships and partnerships that allow for a personalised approach. There is often a return to the top-down structures of organisations or of decision-making processes. Care, support and risk assessment needs to be done together with the carers and managers and those with dementia. It's about partnerships. Priority 3. Many carers have feelings of disconnection and isolation which have been exacerbated during the pandemic. It is frustrating that very often it is not until you are at the point of crisis that support is offered. There needs to be some more support offered earlier to prevent this from being the case. The majority of carers do not get any kind of help. It was not until I went through a crisis that I got any support. And we must aim to provide this before someone gets to that point. Priority 4. It can be very difficult to find the support and guidance needed. What is most valuable is hearing from other unpaid carers, but there are not many opportunities for this. While the pandemic has been tough, online networks were felt to be effective. More of these kinds of networks and opportunities could be offered in the future. I was telling a friend about a situation, and their response was to just roar with laughter. And that was great. That really helped. Priority 5. Volunteers and staff working with people often have their own care needs. And at the moment, there are many times that this is compromised, especially when working from home without much social contact. How can we provide care when we ourselves are not receiving it? And that's the end. So I'll unshare my screen again. Thank you. Brilliant. So as I said, these priorities emerged from discussions with unpaid carers and staff and volunteers working with people with dementia. So we really need to make sure that we get the voices of people who are living with dementia themselves at the heart of this conversation. At the same time, a lot of these priorities are transferable. A lot of them are about human connection and the needs, the holistic needs we have as humans to be seen and heard and share experiences and access knowledge. So there's a lot we can take from them regardless. But I really look forward to hopefully working with some of the people that you support or you yourself in the near future. I'll hand back over to George now.